Good morning guys, we are over by the bees about to do an inspection of them, and I thought for fun today I have 3 cameras going. So I've got this one that you guys are on, I've got the drone which I'm about to get up into the air, and then I've got the DJI strapped on not so attractively to the front of me so that you can see what I'm doing in there. And I thought we could go in together and I could show you and kind of talk you through what I'm doing, though I don't have smoke, so we'll see how successful this is. It's okay. Oh god. Oh no. They ran out of space. Okay, well that's bad. Okay, well that's bad. That means they're gonna be angry. Oh, girls. What have you done? Alright, abort. Abort, abort, abort. That did not go as I planned. The other bees are looking a lot more lively than they did a couple of weeks ago when I checked them. However, I feel like their queen could be running out of room to lay, and they're possibly storing honey down below. So I've swapped over the 2 boxes. So I moved the top one to the bottom and the original brood box up, and that's going to encourage the queen to come down and lay more, which will increase the amount of bees in the hive, making them stronger. And then the bees will be able to finish off storing honey and all the other good stuff. Now I need to get my hands on a super box. Of these. And then I need to give that a clean. On a positive note though, bees are doing well, and at least we get to try out the crush and strain method, which just involves squeezing it. Oh my God. So honey at this stage is not actually capped, which means it won't be thick like the honey we're used to, and so it won't be able to be stored properly because it's still got a lot of water content in it. When the bees cap the honey, it's when it goes through the fermentation process, which then means it can last longer and also be thicker. So at this stage, while it's quite liquidy, it's actually perfect to make mead, and that's exactly what we're going to do with it because it's extra honey, so we might as well make a delicious drink to enjoy for Christmas, or it'll most likely be ready for New Year's Eve, if not like my birthday. Once again, it has been another very strange summer on the homestead here in Australia, and though while we're still getting some pretty nice summer days to get out and do some projects or go exploring, most of our days are being spent in the kitchen, cooking, baking, and just preparing things like the mead. I made sure to include the recipe for the mead down below in the description box. If there are ever any recipes you want to try out, please ask me if I haven't put a recipe down there for you, or check out our Patreon page, which has lots of additional recipes that I don't share here.
Episode 66 of the Eat to Raw podcast with Lynn Stone.
Oh, that's so pretty. I feel like
Thanks to the Education Research Reading Room.
Thanks for having me, Ollie.
pleasure, Lynn. First
reading, right? And what teachers were being told about reading. And that discrepancy actually led to casualties. So it was casualties that I really to do something different, and that became all the phrases that you need to gain mastery with. But there are other factors like exposure to print, because at some point on that journey you've actually got to look at print, and you've got to learn how to build that processor that will connect to your
alphabetic, and whatever came after that. I'm not familiar with that word. What was the final one?
Fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension underpinning all of this.
Inherently, then they're probably going to find it easier to.
Fortunately, I don't have a lid, so I do have this ricotta thing that is left over, and I'm going to add some water. Oops. Every few days, I'm just going to lift up the top and then put it back down again so it burps. I'm trying to remember to plant things every single day, because usually in summer when things take off, I forget that I need to be planting things. My sourdoughs are still very hit and miss, and some days they really work out and other days they're very runny, and I think it's just from the adjustment in flour, because I got a different type of whole wheat flour instead of rye flour, and I'm really noticing a difference in the texture of the bread, so it's really interesting to connect with the bread like that. I'm experimenting with my sourdough starter by putting it into different kinds of meals like pancakes and muffins, as well as today I'm having a go at making some cinnamon scrolls. The first time I made these, they didn't rise and they didn't do anything. I accidentally even forgot about them and almost burnt them. So this time they've turned out a lot better. Top to bottom, side to side, side to side, to bottom, pinch, 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 and roll onto its side. Hit hot, hit hot, and side.
Taste the difference. Just gonna get the rest of this for this.
Now we let it rest.
So this has to finish.
I managed to get my hands on a second-hand bee box, and so it needs a little bit of a cleanup and some new foundations, and that's what we're going to do now together. Okay, so now that the frames are all scraped clean and they've got nothing gross left on them. I'm just going to melt the wax that's in here and stick on a piece of an ideal frame. You can see they don't have wire, so I'm not going to stick a whole foundation on. I'm just going to stick a chunk on, and this should be plenty for the bees. Pretty cool. It's a really hot summer day, so this is quite easy to do. Might be harder in winter. But for right now, this is awesome. Okay. This side in. And bees can naturally do this themselves. The reason you would add a foundation like this is just so that it makes it easier for them to start and keep in a straight line instead of doing it all over the place. So it just makes it easier for you as a beekeeper to harvest honey after. Doesn't make it easier for the bees. It's like giving students ruled lines to write on as opposed to just letting them try themselves on a blank page. Teacher analogies. I have actually hired out the extractor again from the bee club in a couple of weeks on the 9th of January. That's probably around the time that this video is coming out, so probably as you're watching this I'm harvesting more honey, but I just thought it would be a lot easier for a full box because it's pretty heavy to use the extractor as opposed to just using like the crush and strain method, which I did with the little scraps that I had from this whole mess and ordeal. So I'm going to take this ideal box, which is empty, and put it below the full frame super, which is full of honey. That's the one I'll be extracting in a couple of weeks. And once I take the honey out of that, I plan to put that super underneath the brood box. So as the very first layer of the boxes, the bee boxes, so that the queen has lots of new places to lay her eggs and to have more brood. And this is a really good idea when you're adding new boxes, if you can, to put them on the very first level, because the most important thing for a swarm of bees is for the queen to be laying healthy babies to replenish the hive. So the more room that she has to lay, the happier she stays, and then as a collective they all stay happy because their mood is kind of dependent on what the queen is doing, and as long as she's happy, everyone's happy too. By doing this, it also means that the ideal boxes will be the ones that I'm storing over the winter time when they don't need all that room for making honey, and my bees will both have 2 full super boxes so that they have plenty of honey to store, keep them alive, keep them healthy over the low nectar period, but also plenty of space for brood.